Welcome, Jacqui, to the Coaching Lounge.
Thank
Thank,
you, Sonya.
thank you very much for being here and sharing your truth and yourself with us on this call. We'll see. We've been speaking off the recording, and there's a lot going on in your life right now. Lots of change happening, and sound to me lots of change coming. There's been a real and lots of endings, and I can see this is a period now of finding your feet to move into the next chapter of your life. So we were talking about there's lots of change happening in your life. Definitely a new chapter of your life is forming, hasn't quite completed its formation yet, but metamorphosis is happening, which means letting go of a lot. And there is some grief attached to that, as there's naturally will be. But then there's also an exciting new vista in front of you of a new life with a new way of being. And as that's forming, there's many, many things that we could work on. But just to pick one for today, you mentioned that you would like to be able to let go of the feeling of always needing to be right. Is that correct?
That's right.
Can you tell me a bit about that, where that shows up in your life, and how's that a problem for you?
Perhaps in a conversation, I will know that the information being communicated to me is not right, or I am being falsely accused of something.
Mm-hmm.
I will want to always cut in the conversation and correct what's being said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and it would be best to listen and hear things out. But I'm also not got that in my situation, got that freedom to be able to speak my truth. And I'm just in that stage now where I'm just going, what is the purpose of having to always be right, even if I'm being falsely accused? And just to keep quiet and not have to respond in the way I do, and usually in a reactive way. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So there's 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 elements, there's a spectrum of wanting to be right, right? Like uh do you feel you have a right to not accept being falsely accused? Yeah. Do you feel
Yeah.
like you have a right to
Yeah.
speak up?
Yeah.
Um, so there is that. There is times when you have a right to be right, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I also know too, you want to pick your battles as well. Yeah. Like there's
Yeah.
probably some times where you're thinking, oh God, I wish I just let that go because it
Yeah.
wasn't worth it. But there's other times where it's really appropriate for you to speak
Mm.
up. Uh, and are there other times where you feel that you are um, wanting to be right about other situations where there could be other perspectives?
Yes, as well.
Okay, right, right. So, yes, because we know you you remember in the NLP communication model how there's 2 million bits of information per second coming at us, and we can only take in anywhere up to 134 bits of
Yeah.
information. And so there are always more than one perspective, always, always. But even if there is one kind of obvious way, there's also millions of other potential
Yes.
ways as well. And in quantum, we always say that every problem has unlimited solutions, not just one, but unlimited solutions. So there's definitely space for other opinions and other points of view.
Yeah.
And you said very wisely when you said, oh, what's the purpose of always being right? So let's just chunk up with that and let's uncover a little bit about what's going on there for you. So when you say, I always need to be right, And let's begin. What is the purpose? And just say whatever first words that come to your mind. What's the purpose of always being right?
I stand really firmly in truth and integrity. And when I feel that I don't speak up, that I am not meeting that value of truth and integrity for me.
Right. And is there only one truth? Is there only one truth and one
No.
integrity? There can be
No.
more than one truth?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you say I stand in truth, are you standing in all options of truth simultaneously, or are you standing in your perception of the truth in that moment?
My perception of the truth in that moment.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the purpose of standing in firmly in your perception of the truth in that moment?
It's almost as if I don't do that, that I am not being who I am.
Mm-hmm. I'm not being who I am. And what is the purpose of feeling I'm not being who I am? What does that mean to you?
It's, I can't put it into words of not being who I am. It feels like it's just almost the picture that comes to mind is almost as if I'm the solid form, and then I'm being pulled out into different parts of me, if that makes sense. But it's still part of me, but I'm being pulled.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like there is peace or flow and balance in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's the purpose of being who you are?
The purpose of being who I am is to purpose of being who I am is it's actually self-centered. If I think about it, that's what comes to mind.
Right.
Mm.
Good. And what's the purpose of being self-centered? What does that do for you?
Getting my way.
Mm-hmm. And what's the purpose of getting your way?
Makes me right.
And what's the purpose of being right?
There is no purpose of being right because it doesn't really matter.
So, and yet it's very important to you. Yeah. So what is the purpose of it being so important to you to be right?
So that I can remain solid in myself. But I've just realized I don't need to remain solid and rigid. I can actually be pulled out. And it's almost like when I say that pulled out, it's like I'm solid and rigid, and it's almost a ball of slime that's just like kind of squishing everywhere. And it's actually okay to be like that.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful understanding. And yeah, because exactly what you said is kind of what I was picturing. Like I was picturing like the hard edges of being solid and rigid, and yet we are energetic and we're soft and flowy, which is what you want to be.
Yes, that's what I want to be.
Yes. And so it's okay to be pulled and let that flow and ease happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So now that you know that, how do you feel about being right all the time?
It's okay not to be right all the time.
And why is it okay to not be all right all the time?
Because I want to be flowy and loving and kind and a good listener, and allow myself just to, and it almost like melts into the situation or the conversation. It doesn't mean I have to become that.
Yeah. And how does that feel?
It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so, where's the situation that is, maybe let's look at one that's happened recently where you look back now and you go, oh, wow, I was really rigid there. And how could you have approached that differently? Can you think of one of those?
Um, Probably an example probably would be with my girls, where I'm just trying to think of where they will say, for example, they're disrespectful,
Right.
and I pull them
When
up
you
on being
say, sorry, my girls, is that your daughters or
yeah, my daughters, yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Say they're disrespectful, and
Mm-hmm.
they will come back with, "No, I'm not being disrespectful because you spoke to me like that, or you said this," and
Mm-hmm.
they feel they are justified to have reacted or responded the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say I would keep going back at them and saying, no, that's not the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, also realizing they're teenagers and stepping into adulthood, and they are entitled to speak their voice, say what they want to say as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So let's have a look now. I'm just wondering, okay, so what do you think is the core belief? If we were going to clear a belief that you felt was limiting around this always needing to be right, what do you think that belief is? Or how would you
I
phrase
have a
that?
belief that I have to voice my truth.
Right. Okay. Good. I have to voice my truth. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you say that, what kind of feelings come up? I have to voice my truth.
It's a feeling of like, I just don't like that about myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that feeling, when you say that to yourself, I have to voice my truth, where are you feeling it in your body right now?
In my gut.
Right. What kind of feeling in your gut?
It feels like a solid ball that's hollow. Like
Right.
a ball, yeah, it feels like a black ball that
Mm.
is solid. Actually, it's not hollow, solid. Yeah.
Right, right, okay. And is there like a weight to it or
Yeah, it's heavy.
heavy? Okay. And how strong is this feeling of this black solid ball in your
It
gut?
almost fills up 3/4 of the area just above my belly. So like under my under my ribs, between my ribs and my belly. Yeah.
Right, so the solar plexus, that
Yeah.
middle area, okay. And how strong is that feeling out of 10 right now?
Like a 9.
9, okay. So you would know if it were gone, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just close your eyes and breathe into that ball in your solar plexus. And I'm going to ask you a question. And we're going to find the first event. And your unconscious mind already knows the answer before I've even asked the question. And the answer will either be before conception or after conception. So just trusting. The question is, Jacqui, what is the first event which, when learnings are gained, will cause this solid, heavy black ball in your gut of this belief, I have to voice my truth, to cause it to just disappear? Well, if you were to know or to guess, was that first event before or after conception?
After conception, yeah.
Okay. What made you say before?
Because I thought it was before, and then I realized no, it had to be after conception. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, why does it have to be after conception if your unconscious mind said before?
The thing that's coming to mind is that I always believed that my parents had to get married because of me, but I know that is not true now. That is
Mm-hmm.
some sort of link to that. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
what it
okay.
is.
So were you in the womb or something at the
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So you're in the womb. All right, beautiful. So now I'd like you to just travel out into the past and come down and stand next to yourself in the womb and let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Good. Now ask your little self, what's going on? Why do you feel that I have to voice my truth? What does she say?
You were born with no voice.
Right. Okay. And ask little Jacqui, is it okay if she comes with you now to gain some more resources to let go of this belief? Now, does she have any understanding, insight, or advice for the present you?
I just see myself holding myself as an infant.
Yes.
And it's almost as if I need to hold myself tight with that love, that unconditional love for myself and acceptance of myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anything else?
Yeah, it's just that I'm not sure how to get there. Yeah. I know that what needs to be done, but I'm not sure how to get there. Yeah.
Okay, right. And are you willing to find that out with your younger
Yes.
self? Beautiful. Okay. And does your younger self have any advice on how to get there?
I just get this, I can see the image and as well as the revelation of that to rest and just be flowing and almost squishy.
Mm.
And not rigid, just squishy and flowing like a baby that's super cuddly and embracing. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. And now see that infinite source of love, light, healing, wisdom, and understanding pouring through your young self and pouring out of her heart into you and giving you this beautiful message to hold yourself tight, to give that unconditional love and acceptance to yourself. And to do this, all you need to do is rest and be flowy and squishy like a super cuddly baby, embracing this gorgeous, soft, squishy, cuddly, beautiful, loving baby. And allow yourself to feel the ability to do that and to feel whole and healed. And now give your infant self a big, squishy cuddle. Tell her that you unconditionally love and accept her and always will. And have her merge inside of you and grow up to be the wonderful, flowy, unconditionally loving person that you are today in this moment. And see yourself bathed in your own spotlight of love, light, healing, wisdom, and understanding until you feel completely whole and healed. Good. Now go back to that event, but as your fully healed and integrated self, and ask yourself, how do I feel now in this event that is different from how it was in the past?
I feel ready. And I see myself standing there almost rigid, but inside it feels different. Yeah.
Good. How does it feel inside?
Warmer. It feels warmer and squishier.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Has that old limiting belief disappeared now?
Yes.
Beautiful. So coming back from that event, coming back to now, releasing all the old limitations and restrictions on yourself and replacing it with the ease and the flow and the rest and that squishy love, that ability to be soft and squishy. And when you're ready, coming back into the room and opening your eyes. How do
That
you
was lovely.
That looked lovely.
Yeah.
Your face was just soft
Yeah.
and colors come into your cheeks.
Yeah.
And how do you feel in your solar plexus area now?
It's still there, but it feels like it's spread out, and it's almost like I mustn't fight it because it's there and it's got its purpose. And it feels like it's spread out, like that slime is just like kind of moved about and filled up the areas it wasn't actually in. But it doesn't feel like I need to get rid of it because it's still part of who I am. But I'm happier to have it there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, good. And so how are things going to be different now that you have this new understanding and new flexibility?
To in those moments to just visualize that squishy, soft, flowy slime. That's what comes to mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. And going out into the future, how are things going to be different now that you've got access to that soft, squishy slime?
I'm going to access that feeling, the actual physical feeling, the squishy slime, because that slime doesn't actually have a voice and it doesn't need to have a voice, and it's okay.
Right. Okay. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
Feels good. Good. Yeah.
Okay, well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was lovely. So, see how you go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, there's so much more that we can
Yes.
do. But that's a nice little chip in the armor that as
Yes.
we're working to, it's like, my Statue of David metaphor.
Yes.
You do know, have you,
Yes, I recall it. I don't remember it exactly, but yes.
yeah, how there was this Statue of David was this huge chunk of marble, and all the artists before Michelangelo, other artists had been commissioned to make the statue, and they would try, and they just said, "Can't do anything with this marble.
Yeah.
It's rubbish. It's useless."
Yeah.
And so the marble actually sat forgotten in a church courtyard for almost
Yeah.
30 years until Michelangelo came, and we all know he created the most incredible, beautiful, stunning statue of David. And when he was asked, "How did you do that?" he said, "I just removed what was not David."
Mm.
And I feel like we're just bit by
Yes.
bit, we're moving the chunks of marble that are not you,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
rigidity,
Yeah.
and revealing that beautiful flow, like the Statue of David, like the softness of his skin and the texture of his muscles and everything, it's flowing and it's soft. I feel like that's what we're working on with
Yeah.
you, revealing that
Yes.
your real true self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so apt, that metaphor. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonya. That was lovely.
My pleasure.